Hello everyone, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome to our channel. Today I'm excited to show you a technique, eco staining. So since it's fall, right currently it is September 8th, 2023, and I live in Cincinnati. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to get a couple of eco staining or dyeing or whatever the case may be before all those leaves fall off. So far so good. I was able to get a lot of leaves and flowers. So you might remember last video I made a video on how to make these little fabric squares using flowers, and it was like a pounding technique. So we did that. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be great to try, leaves and different things, some beautiful papers, like full-size papers, and so that's what we got here. So I went out and gathered leaves, basically leaves. I did try a few grasses. It didn't turn out too well, but I want to show you a few samples of what I did, and then we'll go through the technique. Not hard at all. Pretty easy to do and doesn't take too many supplies. So let's get started. So here are a few examples. The technique is basically just putting paper down, putting your leaves on top of the paper, and then spraying with inks. Spraying with inks, whatever you got, just spray it on. And then you lay another piece of paper on top and you push it down, flatten it out, do the same thing. And you're going to have bleeding through, and that's the whole point of it. Then you put more leaves on or whatever you've got, and then spray, and then you put another piece of paper on and flatten it out. So that's basically the technique. You probably don't even need to watch me do it. You're done, you can go. But I'll show you a few samples. I am super happy with the way they turned out. I'm very excited to show you. So this is the back side. This is the front side of this one. And then when you press this down, you kind of get a negative print. So that's kind of the one that was next to this one. It's still cool. You could take that leaf, paint on it, and then put it down here to get some definition. All kinds of things you could do, or you could just like overspray that and get some different mottled colors. So here is another one. This one got too dark, so word to the wise, it can get too dark, but this is lots of fun. I did some of these on coffee stained paper that was already stained. This is on white paper. I really like the way it turned out too, so that's up to you, whatever your taste is. A lot of the papers will have the negative space here, and then also the leaf definition as well. So this is actually the back, and this is the front. Isn't that pretty? So I kind of like, I could choose to overspray this a little bit more, or even take, an ink blending tool and put some ink on it, or you can just keep it the way it is. It's super cool. So I'm not going to show you this whole stack because I have quite a stack here, but see, this one has some of those negative leaves, and then it has the superimposed leaf on there, and there's the front side. Just super happy with the technique. This one was just very simple. Coffee stained paper. Actually, it was white paper. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna make this one green. Just one branch, just lay it down, make it green, real simple. So I pushed on it and then got it all done. It came out like this with the green. And then I thought it was beautiful, and then I thought, I think I'd like it with coffee, so I just sprayed. I took some coffee, put it in a spray bottle, and just sprayed this whole thing with coffee. So I just love that one. And there's the back side of that one. So super happy. Let me see if there are a few other ones I can show you. Some of them I'm not happy with, but some of them I think turned out really well. So I'll share this technique, and you can experiment on your own and get all the things. It's kind of addicting. So there's the back side of that. See how that paper is pretty white, and I can choose to do whatever I want with that. The only thing I would say about spraying it with coffee afterwards is to take note of what sprays you're using. So if you used like Tim Holtz oxide sprays, those react with water. So you might, wind up kind of smearing up your design. So just kind of be be aware. You might not want to use oxide inks at all. You might want to just use the Tim Holtz stains, or whatever stains you have. I think I have Dilutions, I have Tattered Angels, I've got all kinds of brands, so that's kind of what I use, just a little bit of everything. I did use some oxides in there, but it wasn't a whole lot. Alright, so tell you what, we'll get started now, and I'll be right back with all the supplies. Alright, so what you're looking at right here is my spray box. So it is a box. The camera's looking right down into the center of the box. I'm using this. I don't have any place to store it, so I'm not sure if I'll keep it, but I was using this so that the spray wouldn't get everywhere. You could definitely do it on a flat surface, you know, just protect your surface with plastic or something like that, and just do it there. I didn't have enough room. I just need to clean, let's just put it that way. But this box is gonna work just great. So here is a rack. Now the reason why I use a rack is so that the papers can dry from underneath, and so I was using a rack. If you find a different way to do it, this isn't like set in stone or anything. So I do have a rack. So this is just something I had, but you can find those at the dollar store if you want to do it the same way. I am going to put gloves on because this is a messy job. Messy job. So I'll put some gloves on. Alright, so then the next thing I do, I've got a piece of, and it's paperboard. I've got two pieces. I did get a bunch of these. I'm not sure where. I thought they'd come in handy for journal covers. And so I've been able to use them on numerous occasions. But I got a stack of these from somewhere. I'm not real sure where. But it's like the weight of a notebook paper backing or heavy poster board or that kind of thing. It's just handy to have something at the bottom so that you're not pushing down into the grid and the papers, you know, would get warped from the grid. Alright, so there we go. So I lay that on there just for pushing purposes. Okay, and then I have another one to go on top of the papers when I'm done with them. The other thing you'll need is something heavy to set on top of your sandwich. So I was using a ream of paper. It's pretty cool. It works pretty well because it's, you know, covered in plastic. So that's what I've been using, but definitely a book or something heavy would work, or a box or something would work perfectly fine. But the whole point is to like squish all those layers together. Alright, so today I'm not going to do tons and tons of papers, but I've got three papers here, and they are coffee stained already. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down on here, sort of as evenly as possible. And that will be the same thing when you lay papers down on top of these. Make sure they're as even as possible around the edges, because when you spray, you're going to overspray and maybe catch the paper underneath. I have done that. You maybe noticed when I was flipping through some of those. Okay, so the next step are leaves. So I just went outside and did some tree things here. Had a lot of oaks and maples in my neighborhood. So what you do is you lay it face down on the paper, and I think this one I'm just going to do lots of sort of textures here. I've been kind of sticking to like all maple on one page and that kind of thing, so I think I'm gonna, sorry, I just dropped something, I'm not sure what. I'm looking through my leaves over here. All right, we'll just go with this like that. No, I don't think so. Just do this, and maybe another one of these. These little ones, obviously the bigger ones are going to make a bigger impression, so to speak. But the little ones did work. Little ones as in these tiny leaves. So here we go. So we're ready there, and you can start spraying. So if you want If you want kind of a mottled look or a real wet look, you might want to spray coffee plus your stains, because these stains are going to, when they hit the paper, it's just going to absorb in the paper, right? So you can spray it with coffee. I thought I had the spray bottle here. I don't. I didn't use that method, but I think you could do that. I didn't experiment with that. If I can find that spray bottle, here we go. Maybe we'll just try that with you together here. So when you spray, you're going to want to spray straight down, because if you spray at an angle, those leaves are going to start moving around. Okay, my spray bottle's not working too well, but you get the idea there. And sometimes I was also using scattered straw spray stain, just to sort of give it an overall color right over the top of the leaves, because you can, I'm just going to carefully lift this up, you can see how that's working there. Okay, right over the top of that, and then just add whatever you feel like. I'm going to put some darker color. If I'm going to use these on a journal though, I don't want to get too dark, as we saw on my other sample. And I have a feeling I'm headed that way, getting a little dark here. So I'm going to be done. All right, then just put this down as evenly as you can. Also, I moved away from my paper board a little bit. Okay, don't try to smash it back on once you press, because you're not going to get it in the same place and might wind up with double images and not very clear images. So you can see when you press that you're going to get another image on the paper underneath, and also on this one here. So I highly recommend wiping off your gloves or your hands, whatever you're using, in between papers, because otherwise you get splotches on your gloves, and then it'll sort of make a mess. Okay, so now we've got this. Now what we're going to do is put more leaves on top. So let's go ahead and do that. And then you'll get a combination of sort of negative prints and positive prints. And sometimes, sometimes it doesn't work the way we want. Sometimes it doesn't show up quite what we thought it would look like. But it's all, eco-staining is that way. That's kind of the nature of eco-staining, isn't it? It's just experimenting and having fun. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out which stain it was, which brown I used that was so dark. Alright, I'm going to go in with some scattered straw. I want some green, I think. Let's get some green in there. Make sure to get the leaves themselves, because that's going to leave your print both on this page and then the next page too. So make sure to get those leaves pretty well. All right, I think I'm happy with that one. Okay, and then directly on top, put it down and press it together. Alright, put more leaves on it. Go do a nice big old maple. Have some simple Rose of Sharon here. Let's do another maple. Alright, let's do that. Alright, let's do a little mustard seed. Let's do a little mustard seed and pumpkin. How's that sound? This is a orangey so I took a lot of the yellow off. So let me put some more in there. All right, I like that. Let me get a piece. All right, sorry, I had to dig for paper there. Okay, last sheet we're going to put on top. Press it down. And you can see those images just come right through. Beautiful. All right, so the whole idea is to press all these papers together, just kind of like eco printing too, right? We're going to put this on top to press them tight together. So they are not super duper wet. It's not going to take too long for these to be nice and pressed and dry enough to separate. Now if you got them very wet, you might need to adjust your times, but I found that a half hour, 45 minutes is plenty of time to keep this sandwiched together. So I'm going to take this out and put them in front of a fan, and then I'll come back and show you the results. Okay, one thing I wanted to explain before I start is that on the stack, before I put the ream of paper on top, my plan was to put this on top before the ream of paper to protect whatever heavy thing I'm putting on top, or to evenly spread out the weight. But I forgot, and it was fine. It turned out just fine, because my ream of paper just covered this whole thing, and it didn't matter. The plastic protected my paper, you know, all that stuff. So it was fine. But ideally, what I had been doing was putting this on top as well as the bottom of the paper stack, just for more protection for your paper. But it worked out. Also, I wanted to tell you the method I used. So I put my stack in front of a fan, and then after I had said 30-45 minutes, where I felt like they were all pressed enough and all that, then I just started removing the ream of paper so that the fan was blowing more on the edges, and let it dry that way for, you know, like 15 minutes or so, and then move the ream of paper over this way and let the fan blow on this edge of the paper, and then for about 15 minutes. And then when that's, you know, feels fairly dry, and it will, because it's not, like I said, it's not soaking wet paper, then just take it apart and take the leaves off, finish drying the paper, and you've got this. So let's go over what we got here. So this is the back of this paper. You can see it's very mottled and kind of ethereal, and I like it. You could choose to, you know, like do a little overspraying on this, or stenciling, or inking. I love this. I thought that turned out really well. And yeah, if you wanted a little bit more color on the background, just do a little bit more spraying, or, you know, experiment a little bit. So this is sort of the negative of that. So there's this nice pretty colors, and you can definitely add more to that if you want to. In fact, as I'm going to show you a sample of what I did, and I love the back of this, love the back of that. And then there's this one. I didn't get as much orange on there as I had wanted to, but so here you've got your negative leaves and positive leaves. So love that, and I love this side as well. I might want to, you know, when I use this or copy it or whatever I'm going to do with it, I might want to like add another leaf right here with paint, or you know, a stencil here or something like that, or just a little spraying. So it is, because it's a little lopsided on this side, but I think it turned out really great. And so there's that one. And then this was the very top paper, where this was just put right on, and I love the way that turned out as well. This one is more pastel, and I like it very much. And this is the back of that. You know, it's cool. It's cool. It has its positives too. So anyway, so that was this batch. I had a lot more yellow in this batch than the other one, and this one turned out very green. But anyway, so experiment, have fun. I am going to show you this one. So this one was a print that was very negative space printing, right? Inking, I mean. So that's something very, very similar to this. And that was this one, only in green. So what I did was I painted the back of a leaf. Show you. So I painted with acrylic paint, painted the back of this, and then put it right down on the page. And then if you have a brayer, that would work. Just press it with your hand. Don't rub too much. I would just press. If you rub a lot, then you're going to get like a solid leaf shape instead of just the, you know, the veining in the leaves. So it came out like that. It was a very kind of a light impression. And I did the same thing with the other ones. Also, I don't know if you can see it, but I used a very rough brush, and so you can see the painting, the brush strokes, I should say, the brush strokes. So you can kind of see that, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I like the addition of the color on here, and I might do a little bit more spraying as well. So, or stenciling. Spraying, stenciling would be so pretty too, wouldn't it? What else could you do? Just spraying, stenciling, maybe more leaf prints. So cool. I hope you enjoyed this technique. Thank you for joining me today. I know you could be doing 100 other things, and so I really appreciate you joining me today, and hopefully you can use this technique. Send us pictures on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Our group is Ideas Times 2, and you can find us on Instagram. We have an Etsy shop as well. We would love to see you there. Please like and subscribe. We would appreciate it so much. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.